Hey everyone, welcome to our new Athyna session. I'm so glad everyone's here like last month and the month before. I'm Celeste Bono and I'll be your host for today. In case you didn't know, we, Athyna, are a global talent platform and our purpose is to help spread opportunities around the world by creating a sustainable ecosystem of talent to connect companies and job seekers. Not that you needed me to say that because you already knew probably, but hey. And just so you know, we've been killing it for the past few years by tapping into the power of global talent. And we're here to give you a sneak peek at how we're doing it. During these sessions, we bring in expert speakers to dish out some knowledge and all things related to the future of work. So sit tight and get ready to learn a thing or two by this amazing speakers that we have today. So, to begin with the session, I would like to introduce you to our first guest speaker and neighbor. Not that you care about that, but Joaquin Varela is our business development manager and avid surfer. Joaquin joined our team 2 years ago and will be sharing his expertise on accelerating your business growth throughout global talent. Joaco, are you there?
Hi, Celeste. How are you? Thank you for inviting me.
Hey, there you are. No, yes. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's crazy that we are neighbors. Right?
It is. I was going to say, we should probably be doing this live like one sitting next to the other, but, it was not going to be fair to our next guest. Our second guest is Argentino Molinuevo, the multi-talented expert who's been part of Athyna's team for the past few years, increasing our growth by 15% MOM. By day, Tino, that's the way we call him, he conquers the business world as a sales manager at Athyna, and by night, he shines on his costume as Batman. No, just as a stage award-winning actor. Now, Tino brings his expertise to the Athyna session to help you accelerate your business growth through global talent. Hi, Tino, I can see you. How are you?
Hey, Cele. Hey, Joaquin. Hey, guys. Thanks for having me here. I'm super excited to chat with you.
Oh, I'm so glad you guys could join us today, and I'm glad you could take a minute off the stage to join us on this stage. So, how are you guys feeling? Are you guys ready to share some of Athyna's biggest secrets? The people want to know.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, like to quickly summarize before we get started. So here at Athyna, over the last 2 years, we've grown from 5 to 65 remote team members. And we have people working from over 10 different countries and like 8 different time zones. And it's been great. The experience has been amazing. The team is super engaged and we are doing awesome as a company. So everything that we will share here is something that we already tested. Of course, we had a lot of challenges in the way, but we have some ways to address them. So yeah, excited to chat about this.
Awesome. I'm so glad you guys could join us. So this goes, I can already see our audience, our chat's on fire. We love you too. And we're so grateful that you could join us on this very warm summer night. We'd like you guys to participate as much as possible in the session. This goes to our audience, again, as I said. So feel free to ask as many questions as you want by going to our Q&A section on the bottom right. I don't know if you can see that. And we'll try to answer everything by the end of the session. All right? Okay, guys, it's time to answer some questions. And the first one is, I don't know who wants to take it. I can see you guys are like, what is she going to ask?
Depends on the question.
I know you guys. So guys, tell me, how can business actually benefit from hiring global talent?
I can take that one if you want.
Yes, you go, Tina.
Well, but Paco probably can speak as well afterwards. But
sure.
There are for sure like a number of different benefits. What I would say is like the biggest one and the most important one is the possibility of accessing a wider pool of talents. So you don't have to be limited to the talent that is available in the city where your company is based or the country where your company is based. You can actually hire people anywhere in the world and that will give you a higher possibility of finding like the perfect fit that you are looking for that position. What do you think, Joaquin?
Yeah, I think like you, Tino, it's amazing the possibilities that we have nowadays with the remote teams. And not only that, I think also the possibility to build diverse teams, right? To build different experiences from other markets, other countries, other companies, and different things. I think it's adding a lot of value. And also the possibility here that you can be working 24/7, right? That you have in different time zones, so talents spread all around the world. And that's going to help you a lot if you want to expand to different markets. And it has its benefits, right? So I think it's pretty cool what's going on with remote talents nowadays.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that, guys. And speaking of global, how can a company leverage global talent to expand its reach and customer base?
I think here it's a very interesting question, because nowadays there is a lot of possibilities to do business in other countries, in other regions, right? So knowing that you can access talents that are going to be based in these regions, or they have experience, or maybe they are in the same time zone, that allows you to use their experience and to grow better in their places. So for example, a company that is based in Latin America or in Northern America and want to expand to Europe, so having talents that are based in Europe or maybe in the same time zone is going to help them a lot here, and it's going to bring a lot of opportunities to grow.
Yeah, and I wanted to also talk what Joaquin said about the time zones and the 24/7 machine working that was mentioned before. I was having a conversation today with a potential client, that is based in the that it's based in the US, and they were needing customer service reps to have like a 24/7 availability. Right now, they hired someone locally that is working during night shifts, which is okay. But what I mentioned is, hey, why don't we hire someone like Southeast Asia, where your night shifts is typical day shift over there, and you don't have to have someone working at 12 a.m. at night till 8 a.m. So those are like benefits that could definitely help you expand not only the working hours that you could be available, but also targeting other clients in other regions with more hours of overlapping as well.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And how have you implemented effective communication and collaboration within the remote team?
Well, we have a number of tools. I would say our number one tool is Slack, that basically it allows you to message anybody, to make groups according to departments, according to projects, according to other stuff not related to work, but maybe just fun groups. And it also allows you to check in, say, hey, I'm available right now, and also check out whenever you need to check out and not being disturbed after your working hours, which could be a challenge when you are working with someone in the other part of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. You will receive that message, whether you like it or not, sometimes.
It happens a lot, but it's work, right? It's very difficult. Also, what Tino was saying, I think Slack is a great tool. I wanted to say also how important it is communication here, right? To have the effective communication. So the tools, I think, really important, and also understanding with who we are communicating. And another thing that we are doing here at Athyna also that is pretty cool is to have everything recorded. There's another app, it's called Notion, and we have our wiki. That's amazing because you have all the information that you need and you can access it from anywhere around the world. So as Tino was saying, we have people in more than 8 different countries. Imagine different time zones also. So maybe you are not on working time here in Argentina where we are. They might be out there, so they can access the wiki. They have all the information there. And another great thing also, it's that we are recording the meetings. So that helps them if they can't join. Yes, one of our team members is also in Australia, for example. It's more than 12 hours different. I think it's 14 hours different. So imagine. So we're going to bed and they're waking up. So
that's crazy.
It's very difficult to organize a meeting, you can imagine. So having that recorded.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, continue.
No, that I think
yeah, but having the meetings recorded and for everyone to be able to access them is a huge plus. And like Juan said, Notion is a very powerful tool to have all the information that you need to have about processes, any related information on the company, so that anyone can access it at any time and just not need to ask like someone and wait for that person to be online to answer.
Yeah, absolutely. I swear by it. I like it. It is the wiki. I love Notion, and they're not paying me to say this, but I truly like everything I need. I just go there first thing in the morning, and it makes your day so much easier. And so guys, how have you addressed any challenges or obstacles that have arisen from having a remote team? Because obviously, like you said, we have a team member, a colleague that's like 14 hours ahead of us, and it's not just the time things. There are other things to consider too.
Yeah, I guess that one of the main challenges, it will depend obviously on the type of work that you do. If you are part of a team, if you work on your own with no team or something similar, but working remotely every day from your house with no one around, it could get a little bit lonely from time to time. And the feeling that you are on your own, you're not part of a team, which is not true really. So what we do a lot is like to have separate, like in Slack, for example, separate group conversations that does not have to be work related. It's not all about work. When you are in a meeting, you can have like space for something else. And we also do lots of, we call them like Agora sessions, which are gatherings of the whole company and a speaker that would like to share something they're experts on. So building these places where people can gather, hang out, and feel part of the community is super key when working remotely.
Yeah, I mean, if someone saw our channels on Slack that have nothing to do with work, I mean, no, but it's good. I mean, everything's safe. I'm not saying anything crazy here. Like, we're not going, mental.
No, yeah.
But like, it's so important, and it can get a bit lonely at times, I guess. And I live with my cat, and he's around all the time. But he's not enough. Yeah. What do you think, Paco?
I think it's not only communication, right? It's super important here. Again, to communicate with your team members when you're remote. We are spending a lot, also feeling lonely, but also it's about staying active maybe and healthy. Your routine might change a little bit because you are a lot at home.
Yeah.
So sometimes maybe you don't go out much because you are working all day. Depends. You can have long journeys. Another great idea that we're doing, it was walk and talk. So it's another way to promote and say, okay, we can have a chat, 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes when you don't need your computer or something like that. So you promote your team also to go out, you're more relaxed. So also staying healthy. When you're in an office, you need to go out, right? But when you are working from home, you can just stay there. So that usually you're comfortable. You have your own office, maybe your own space to work. So promoting so people go out, I think it's also really important. And it's one of the challenges that we're facing now. So
so true. Absolutely. For the people that are joining us now, just a reminder, if you click on the Q&A icon on the bottom right corner of your screen, you can ask anything you'd like the guys to answer to you. So, but we're going to keep on going with our questions now. So, guys, how do you actually measure the because this is like, everyone thinks, working remotely, are they actually working, or they're like binge watching Netflix or something? No, we actually work, and sometimes a lot. So how do you guys measure the productivity and success of our remote team?
Go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that it's really not different from on-site job in office. I mean, you need to set your organizational goals. You need to set how those goals go into each of the departments and what each individual contributor needs to achieve, and track those goals and make sure that you're always like on track. And if you're not on track, like do whatever you need to do to fix that. But it's not about at what time did someone connected and at what time they were disconnected. It's about achieving your goals and making sure that things are going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I totally agree. I think there is a lot of skepticism, right, about remote work. Are they working? As you say, Celeste, it's like, but it's not about spending time again in front of the computer and having the clear goals. And we were using in Slack, for example. Another example that we have is in Slack, we have really clear goals. We have the metrics also to understand how we are doing and how's the activities that we're doing and everything, and keeping people motivated, right? So also encouraging, again, the communication that helps a lot to get them involved and get better results here too, right?
It can actually be like challenging to switch off at some point, because when you work remotely, you work with, for example, ourselves. We have clients in the US, we have clients in Europe, we have clients in Australia. And for example, I am based in Argentina, and maybe I have a meeting with a client from the US during my mornings. But if I have another client, which I have in Australia, I need to meet with them during our late evenings. So maybe you start your day at 9 a.m. and you have to finish it at 9 p.m. with another meeting. But that doesn't mean that you need to work like 12 hours nonstop.
No.
You need to be like very organized, and you need to be able to say, all right, now I am working. And if you need to, stop working at 3, 4, at 2, whatever time you need, just stop and make sure that you can clear your mind if you need to go back to work like at 8 p.m. because you need to have another meeting. So switching off could be like challenging, but again, having tools like Slack that clearly tells you, I am online, you can ask me whatever you need, and no, I'm not online, this is outside my working hours, is super important for this.
Yeah, and I think actually it's the complete opposite of people who are not working remotely think, like I was saying at the beginning, sometimes it's even harder, like you said, to, disconnect. Or in my case, and it's funny that there are some managers or CEOs that are still wondering, like, but how do I know if my employees are actually working? Like, at least we at Athyna, we all trust each other, and we know, like you said, we can reach anyone, obviously, within normal hours. Knowing that you will have an answer and that you can ask them whatever. So I guess a little bit more trust, maybe.
Absolutely. It's key. If you are not trusting your team, remote work is gonna make you crazy. You're gonna get crazy, and you're gonna make your team crazy if you don't trust.
Yes, absolutely. And guys, have you noticed any differences in the work-life balance of your remote team members, like compared to those, in a traditional setting?
I would say here, Celeste, it's a huge difference. Like for myself, I speak for myself, on my personal experience. I've been working also in offices in the past. It was about traveling. I remember at one point I was traveling 1 hour to arrive to the office, another hour to go to the university, another hour to come back, right? So it's 3 hours.
No, that's done.
It's a game changer. Once you start working at a remote company, remote role, it's mind-blowing. It also, another thing we have that it allowed me the remote working. I've been working in different countries, so I love traveling. This is not anymore that I need to take my holidays, because you can be in another country, you can work 8 hours. Yeah, perfect. You can adapt yourself and be traveling to different places. So that opens up the door to explore different things,
Yeah.
So I think it was a game changer. It's a game changer completely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The other day, Tony Jamos, that is the founder and CEO of Oyster, posted on LinkedIn a very interesting article that said that on average over the last 2 years that remote work obviously arrived and all that we know, people on average have saved 72 minutes per day in commuting. So
it's crazy. That's a really big amount of time.
That is the biggest benefit. Of course, that being able to work like from anywhere, it's incredible. But saving your time, which is something that you will not get back ever.
No.
It's like priceless. It's like unique. And there's not any other job that could compare to not commuting.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like Joaquin said, there are so many of our colleagues that are also still going to school or having to take classes.
That's
And,
it.
that's like a lot of time that you could be like reading your books or doing whatever. Even if you like want to be doing your laundry, it's crazy.
Well, in my case, last year, as you said, I'm an actor as well. And I got a role at a play here in Buenos Aires. And I had to rehearse during the weekdays, like 3 hours per day during my evenings, which was like, I don't remember, like from 3 to 6 p.m. And if I was at that point working on an on-site 9 to 6 job, that would be absolutely impossible to imagine and to do.
Yeah.
And working remotely allowed me to work till I started the rehearsal. Then I switched off. I did what I have to do. And then I came back and started working again till late evening. And extremely happy for having the possibility of doing that. So it's really, I think that once you do the change and you go from a 9 to 6 to an on-site to a remote, it's going to be very hard to go back to the office.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to come back to an office, really. I'm not seeing myself there. It's nice to see everyone, right? Like doing some co-working once or twice a week, you say, from time to time. Going back to the office, like on a 5-day a week, that would be crazy. I wouldn't do it.
No, I don't think any of us are. Yeah, I think that's way in the past. So guys, how do you, cultural differences, they make an impact in communication and collaboration, of course, within a global team. So how do you actually manage that?
That's a great question, I think. There is a lot of differences, right, sometimes within cultures, but the main thing here is to keep, to understand that they are in different time zones. So what Tino was saying, right, understand that they're working in different time zones, so this is something that we need to respect. Understand also that people in different regions, different countries, they have different cultures, so it's about understanding and getting to know them. Yeah, so we can respect them, right? We can include them and make them feel part of the team. So that's really important to hear. I think those things are main and super crucial here about culture and the cultural differences.
Right.
Yeah, and maybe there are some because English is not the same in every country. So depending on with whom you are talking, they may use words differently, like slang or something that could be kind of confusing the first time that you listen to them. But I think that it's part of this. I mean, it's part of the experience of learning how they express themselves in the US, in the UK, in Australia, in New Zealand. It's like learning all the time, and it's like traveling from your home. So that's really super valuable. And also really having people from different cultures will bring you like new ideas, new ways of thinking, fresh air. And that is also like when building like an organization is something that you want to have.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And you were mentioning the slang and language, and how can a business address language barriers within a global team?
Well, I guess the most important thing is gonna be to set like the company language. If it's English, it's English. If it's Spanish, it's Spanish. If it's French, it's French. But you need to set how everyone is gonna communicate, no matter what their native language or where they live or anything.
Yeah.
And
because this slang's real. Sometimes, sometimes you're talking to people and you're like, I can speak English, I can communicate, but I'm not sure what.
And if you add slang to communicate in different languages, could be like an internal mess. Because people are not gonna understand absolutely anything what's going on. So what we did here is we set English as a first language and as a unique language. So every email, every communication in like general communication, every process that is documented, every meeting that is like a group meeting, everything is done in English. So we make sure that everyone is going to be able to understand what's going on and not being reading or listening to something to a language that they don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it can be also a challenge, right? Because, for example, there might be a lot of people that speaks other languages, and usually it's the easier one for you, like your mother language. We speak Spanish.
Yeah.
It's easier to speak with your colleagues in Spanish. But if you keep it simple, like same language, so everybody understands, so you have a common language, I think it's more respectful also, and it helps this thing of including all the cultures, right, to building up this team that has this in common. So that's very important to do it.
Joanna here in the chat is saying providing tools and resources to your employees too, maybe language classes and trainings. That is one of the things that we apply here. We have English classes for everyone that wants to join them. And it's great because obviously everyone that works like in a fully remote company or in a global company knows English, but you can always get better at it. So being able to provide trainings and English classes is super valuable.
Yeah, we actually do that at Athyna, and we have many groups that take it through that can take classes throughout the week, right? For everyone, as you accommodate your agenda, you can take the
it's
the lessons.
Super fun. It also help us build up teams, right? Because it's another excuse, right, to meet with your colleagues. So we are doing now the English classes, and it's super fun. It's about practicing. It's about getting to know.
Yeah.
It's not our mother language, so there is a lot of things to learn. And another thing is when you're speaking another language, they say you have another personality, right? So you need to take this out and try to understand, right?
I know. That's crazy.
Like, you can act that you are someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say the same jokes in English than in Spanish or in French, or it's like it's completely different. So it's also about practicing, understanding, getting to know the culture, so you can bridge up that gap that can help there. So
yeah, absolutely. So guys, leaving the language aside, how we're changing a little bit here, but like how can a business measure the ROI of hiring international talent? Like how can you do it?
This one is pretty interesting, right? Because nowadays we are having a possibility, there is an opportunity to hire great talents, like really qualified talents, while saving up to 50-60%, I would say, in hiring cost compared, for example, to the US market. Yes, so that's a big gap. It's something that we really need to take it. And 50-60%, it's about hiring, let's say 2 for 1, like for the same amount of money you will invest in the US, you can invest in Latin America, you can hire 2 talents. So imagine in a sales rep, SDR, 2 SDRs, so that they know how to speak in English, they have experience working at a company, maybe also they have experience working for companies in the US already. So they're bringing their experience. They're bringing their experience in Argentina or other countries here in Latin America. That's a big saving, in this case. And it's mostly because there are countries, emerging countries, they have different costs for living there. So that's why it's an opportunity that I think is giving a lot of value for these companies.
Yeah, absolutely. Like ROI can be measured either by revenue generated or by costs that you are saving. And right now the opportunity is huge in the emerging countries. The talent pool is really amazing, and like Joaquin said, the cost of living is so lower compared to like the US, UK, Australia, countries where the cost of living is incredibly high and salaries are incredibly high. There's a massive opportunity right now to explore different countries.
Absolutely. That's awesome, guys. And last question from me. What are some strategies for finding and recruiting international professionals? Who wants to say that?
You can go.
Here, I was thinking, right? Try to put myself on a company like a startup. Once you start hiring, usually you have your close friends, your networks. Yeah. So people that you trust, those are the ones that you're going to hire at the beginning. That's usually how I imagine the process is. But as soon as you start growing, and you have more specific roles that you want to fill in, that's the challenge, right? So here it's about how can we find them? So there's job portals, the LinkedIn, other referrals and things like that. But it starts getting a little bit more complicated because you need to understand where they're coming from, their experience, and mostly if you're hiring remote, right? So I think that's a great opportunity to start working with our companies that have their experience. For example, at Athyna, I wouldn't say we take care of the whole thing. So we help you understand this, right? It would take you a lot of time to do it. Think about it. If you have a job post, usually you have people that are looking for jobs and they're applying, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be the right fit, because it might be someone that is the right fit that is not looking for a job actively at this moment, or they didn't see the job posting. So that's why sometimes you need people that understand the market and are going to start reaching out directly to the talents that think are a fit. So this is one of the strategies, I think, getting out there.
Right.
The truth is that recruiting is very hard within your own country. So, and you can do it, obviously, you can always try on your own, but recruiting outside of your country in another place that you don't know, you probably don't know anyone in on the other side of the world, is going to be even harder. You can always try on your own. There are plenty of tools to try that out, as Paco said. But if not, you can always ask for help. And that is what we do, basically. We do the sourcing, we do the vetting, we do the payroll, and we manage absolutely everything and make sure that we are presenting our clients with the top talent that we specifically headhunt for each new role that they ask for us.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, now it's time to answer the questions the audience has been sending us. So let's start with the first one. Okay, so Damian Cohen, what's the deal with onboarding global talent? What are some good ways to do it? Who wants to take this, guys?
That's a good one, and it's very important to have a very smooth onboarding process for remote talent. It's the first weeks. Everyone, but especially the new hire is gonna be stressed about the situation, nervous. They need to feel like they are part of the team, and the best way actually is to build like a very good onboarding process to make sure that the person, like for example here, what we do is we have the new hire will meet the team lead of every department. Then they will have like an onboarding buddy, how we call it. That is someone that is gonna be next to that person during the whole onboarding that usually takes weeks. So anything that they need to ask, they know that, hey, Celeste, you are my onboarding buddy. Okay, and how is this done? And what do you do if this happens? And here's where Notion comes in. You have everything documented. So you have meetings recorded so that you can tell, hey, sales rep, come on, let's take a look at these 10 different calls so that you can get, the feeling of how they are done. This is how our sales process looks like. This is all the objections that we usually face. This is what you should do if you have an issue with X. Have everything in place so that this person has the tools to succeed, which is what everyone wants, really.
I remember when I got to Athyna 2 years ago, it's the thing, right? Working at a remote company. Oh, wow. But you don't go to the office. You can't ask, hey, do it. It's like,
you're right.
Having your body, it's amazing. Having the Notion, it's like, I don't know something. You don't want to go and ask your boss, right? What should I do, right? You have the Notion, you have everything, so you're more independent, and you think at least you feel that you're providing more value as soon as you start. And it's going to be a faster ramp up too. And I think it creates a lot of engagement with the company because they make you feel that they're taking care of you, They're not throwing you there and saying, okay, you can do it, just do it. It's great. They trust you, but it's good if they give you the resources, they give you some guidance, so you ramp up and you can kill it in the next few months. That's the goal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I felt the same, and everyone. Well, I mean, I can obviously speak from our side, but like everyone's been so lovely, and that onboarding buddy is key. Is like Joaquin said, you can't have your boss answering every single question you have. I mean, they probably would, but like they have other things to do. The onboarding buddies. Great. Okay, let's go with the next question.
Here, Ben has an interesting question. He's asking, when hiring abroad, how can you handle contracts and payments? Great question. So basically, there are like a number of ways to do this. you can either open your own entity in a specific country where you would like to hire people. Obviously, this would make sense if you are like a major corporation, because it takes a lot of money, time, people involved, and so on. If you are a startup, an SMB, or you want to start slow, you can always work with with a third party. In this case, like Athyna, that we will handle all those payments and contracts and so on. We're gonna do like a contract directly with our client, and we're gonna be managing the payroll of the talent that they hire.
Right. All right.
Saves you so much hassle. You can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben, I hope that was useful for you. All right. iBox? How'd you want me to say that? How can you have the discipline to switch off, which is what we were discussing earlier? What are the ways you do it to be productive with your working time? Well, it's pretty much what we were saying before, guys, right?
I think yes, but it's very difficult. I gotta say it's very difficult because you get
hard.
Kind of addicted, because you have it there. It's very easy. You need to separate like your life from work. I have at home a desk, but I'm very close to the desk, and you say, oh, there was this email, and you just want to go there. Once you watch that email, and then you want the next one, then you do the other one. And so it's about creating a routine. It's about understanding, and also about your team leaders to support you on this and to give you guidance and for us to understand, right, what is the right thing to do here. Of course, we all want to do our best, and sometimes we want to work a lot because that's going to create better results. But we also need to do well. We need to take care of ourselves, right? So it's very important to understand that too.
Yeah, and I think it's important what you said. It's that one email that you're gonna fall through the rabbit hole because it's going to be like, oh, let's see the next one, No. It's 10 p.m. I really need to rest. Yeah.
Totally. I think it's super personal. What I use and what works for me is like having in my schedule, like, I don't know, training. I know that at 5:30 I go to train, and I'm gonna be out of my home, and no one is gonna be able to book me a meeting from 5 to 7 or something like that. And also, that is one thing. And the other thing is, as we are with Joaquin, we're in sales, so we get like books from clients. They have our Calendly link, and they are able to book at any time. But we are able also to set what are our working hours for meetings. That maybe it's a big range.
It's a big range.
But it could be a big range. It could be tricky. But you need to make sure that range works for you, that works for them as well. But it's important that if you don't want it, that you don't show yourself like available at 11 p.m. for someone to book a meeting, unless there's an exception. But you need to take care of yourself and set your own limit, because if not, you can go crazy.
Go on for hours. Yeah.
I think it's very easy to break that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go with the next question. What do we have? Joanna is saying, how can we make sure our team members from all over the world are on the same page with their company's vibe and values? Well, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Who wants to go? Tina?
Yeah. I guess it's going to be super important, the recruiting process, to make sure, to make sure that you are in a process with the right person and that you make the right decision. And for that, you're going to need to have not only, because what we do is we're going to source and vet, and we are going to present you. But then it's up to you, really. If you don't have like your own recruiting process in line and ready to really know who you're talking to and who you might be hiring, it's probably not going to work. You need to really have your interviewing process very well built, so that the possibilities of hiring someone that is not a fit will be reduced to the minimum.
Right. Yeah.
And also, I think not only it's very important to understand who you're hiring, right? But so you keep the vibes because you're working remote, right? We are not seeing each other, but as we say, we have these Slack channels, very important. We had at one point we have the coffee roulettes, so that was really good. It was like random meetings with people from the company. Okay, I don't know. I got to meet people from finance. When do you speak? I don't know. Administration, people that work from product. That usually it's not that we work together, and it was super fun. And I got to know them, you know. And at one point, why not? I just want to go. We have one of our team members that is in Italy. We have a coffee roulette, and it's like, I want to go and visit him. You know, I like traveling. Now you have friends around the world. So this is about building up the vibe inside the company, right? We have people all around the world. We have one of our team members that is in Venezuela also, Islas Margaritas.
Yeah.
That's about that. You know, we want to go and visit him, right? So also
absolutely.
Communication and encouraging this a lot.
Yeah. I mean, that's how we discover our neighbors.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, it's important. Yes, absolutely. Story. Crazy story. Let's go with the next question, guys. What do we have? JP, Juan Paisen. How do you convince your client, for example, in US base, that a talent from Latin America have the same skills from A1 at a client's country?
That's a great
one. Better skills.
They're better. No, I guess you need to fully understand what the person is looking for and to do like a very good alignment call, we call it. That is where the client, our recruiting team, and ourselves join like for 30 minutes to understand exactly what is this person looking for, what skills they need, what experience, what background, everything. We need to know every last detail to make sure the sourcing and the vetting process is efficient, and that we will find someone as good as they could hire locally.
Yes, absolutely.
We need to bring this up, right? They have experience already working for other companies, for example, in the US. So that it's like, why can't they do the same work for you, right? If they have the skills, they have experience, they have knowledge, they've been working for a company already kind of in the same position sometimes, right? Sometimes also for other companies like startups, unicorns, people have been working in Uber, Amazon, huge companies. They're bringing a lot of value here too. Why wouldn't they be able to do the same job at your company?
Yeah,
why would be the difference here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to convince them. Just I don't know.
Once they meet them, really, once they meet them, you know, their talents are able to explain also themselves, and the clients, the customers, they understand, the companies understand, and they see, they can ask questions. There is also assessments that they can do, right? Because there are some skills that you want to, tech skills, for example. You have assessments that you can give them and see how they work. And usually they get surprised of the quality of the talent. So that's great.
Yeah, but it's a great question, because it's true that sometimes some companies obviously are used to hiring anywhere in the world, and it's easier like to convince them, but some are not. It's their first time they're hiring abroad, and they haven't done this before, and they are like a little bit, cautious. I think once, like I said, when we understand and we present them and they meet the candidates and they see, oh, okay, then they realize that they were kind of, I have been missing this opportunity for a while now. Okay. But once they meet them, they kind of see that it's true, you know?
Yeah, completely.
Yep, absolutely. So there you have one. Let's go with the next question. What do we have? Eileen. Okay, how can we keep remote teams motivated and into the work they're doing?
That's a good one, right? I think it's understanding why they are also working at the company, because everyone is different too. So also it's about knowing the person and having a roadmap. So to understand where they want to get in the company, do they know? You know where they want to get, and also having understand. That's a great one. It made me think a lot. but their motivation. Some people have their motivation to be at a really nice team, to feel part of the company. Some people feel also, which is very important, building up a nice culture. I think at Athyna, we have a great culture, and that unites us a lot, right? So that helps us stay motivated and doing what we do. It can be also money. Yeah, you have bonuses or things like that promote you and keep you motivated also. So it depends on the person, depends on the company, building a nice culture, having the bonuses, having a roadmap of where they can get, so they have that vision. You have that goal in a long term, mid-term, a short term. I think that's very important to keep them motivated.
Yeah. And I guess that remote work is not like, all right, we're going to communicate only by email or by Slack.
Yeah.
I mean, there are departmental meetings. There must be like one-on-ones to check in and to make sure that everything is doing well. And, hey, how can I help you? Hey, what's up? What happened?
Absolutely.
Hey, how are you doing? Like one-on-ones. The thing that the truth is that working remotely is not like just by email. It's very personal as well, and it needs to have like the personal touch and having like periodic one-on-ones. Maybe it's weekly, maybe it's bi-weekly, whatever the cadence they need, but it's important to have face-to-face communication frequently.
Yeah, and like Joaquin was saying, I think company culture is key. It's so important because that really, like, we have really good, like you said, company culture, and it does, it keeps us motivated. That's one of the things more that, of course, bonuses and those are great and everything, but like, being able, and transparency also, being able to talk to your team and your managers and leaders and have good times. It's not just sending an email, I guess. Like
I like what you said about transparency, Celeste. Transparency, I think it's amazing because also what's going on, right? Again, we are not in an office. It's not that we can chat with different the people at the office to understand what's going on. So if they tell you what's happening and everything, it also keeps you motivated to understand where we are and where we are moving, which are the goals. So communication is key.
Other thing, and this is sorry, my producer is going to be killing me right now, but like it's one of the last things I was going to add is from managers, and we do this also, from our CEO to our leaders and managers, they all give us like updates on what they've been doing and what's going on and what they're hoping to achieve and everything. And again, with the transparency, that also helps you keep your team motivated because they know what's going on, and what they're working for, and that's how everyone's on the same page at the end of the day. But yeah, let's move on to the next question. Anonymous. Ooh, how do I check out the skills of remote talent without meeting them in person? I think Joaquin was saying something interesting there with assessments and everything, right?
Yes, but here it's asking without meeting them in person. Having a meeting like this, right? I think you get to know the person. There is, it's a challenge, but with the assessments, I think the assessments would be the best thing. That would help you out to understand their tech skills or what they've been doing. Sometimes graphic designers, they can show you their portfolio. So that's another great way to do it. If they are SDRs, to understand their metrics, right? Or salespeople, how they be in their metrics. So you understand that too. So it's also about meeting the person and doing an assessment and getting to know. You can check references too, So those are the things done.
Yeah, if it's a technical position, we always recommend to have some sort of technical test with whatever skill they need to evaluate to make sure that if you really need this, okay, let's make sure that this person knows this technical thing. Then going like to the cultural fit, you need to talk to the person and to have a conversation or two or three, and that's the only way, that it's gonna be.
You're gonna meet them, right?
You gotta meet them and have a conversation.
Yeah, it's key. All right, let's see what's next. What do we have? We have Ben again. So what's the best way to bring in global talent? Who's going for this one?
Well, a little bit of, I think what we mentioned, like you have your own way to do it with LinkedIn and different portals that you can expect or you might want the perfect candidate to arrive, or you can get help. And this is, again, what we do. We will find that person that you're looking for. We will understand what you're looking for, what you need, what are the skills, what is the seniority, anything that you want to tell us, super helpful. And we will make sure that the people that we present to you are gonna be super strictly vetted. And that would be like the fastest and most efficient way in my opinion, at least, unless you have like a strong recruiting team or you are a recruiter on your own and you know exactly how to do this. But really, recruiting is like looking for a job. It's a full-time job. So you need to make sure that you know how to do this and that you have the tools and the experience, because if not, you're going to get incredibly frustrated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think we have the last one from Joanna. Thank you. And how do you manage to keep them engaged? Anyway, maybe this is for another session about HR. We will probably have next sessions about HR, but if you guys want to share a little bit of, so Joanna knows what to do.
Keep them engaged, I imagine, in the process, right? On the talents.
Yeah.
So here, I think the best way is always about communicating them and for them to know where they are in the process. And also when they meet the customer or when they meet the recruiter on the first meeting, it's about telling them about what they're going to be doing, right? So they get a little bit more excited about meeting the customer, the company where they're going to be working afterwards, and to communicate them how it's everything going. I think being fast also in the process, it's very important.
Yeah. Recruiting is definitely a game of speed. So you need to move fast. And usually when someone is open to, I may be open to considering a change, and they start like getting involved in different interview process with different companies, the window of availability that they have is very, very small. It's like a few days or weeks. And if you don't secure that person in that time, you lost it forever.
Done. Yeah. You lost it. Yes.
Mostly tech.
Done. You will need to restart the process again, and it's
it's done. Absolutely. Yeah, you lose them. It's like swiping left and you actually wanted to swipe right. But that's all.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. All right, guys. That's it from the audience. That's it from us. I am so grateful you guys could join me today. I actually had an amazing time, and I think you guys also had an amazing time. Thank you so much. If you still have questions though about Athyna or anything in particular that you'd like to know, you can obviously visit our website, athyna.io, or you can scan the QR code on the screen that went right there. Thank you, Tino and Joaquin, for being our guests tonight, and we had an amazing time. And would you like to tell the audience where they can find you?
Sure. They can find me also, if you want, on LinkedIn as Joaquin Varela. You can write me there. So any questions or any comments you want to add, I'm available all the time, unfortunately.
Awesome.
I'm on LinkedIn, Argentino Molinuevo. So if you have any questions or whatever, just shoot me a connection or a DM. I'm happy to chat there.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you to our audience, and we'll see you next time. Have a fantastic day. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya.